Guess we're here again.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's been a while. How long? Like almost a month, I think, right?
Almost a month, yeah, around
Yeah.
that. I mean, Christmas was here and everything, so
Yeah. No, we just didn't upload, right? You guys are gonna have to deal with it. I know you've missed us. I'm
yeah,
sure you've
I
missed
think
us.
they did, yeah.
So anyway, we just haven't uploaded a new episode in a while, but now we're back, and that's what matters.
I
We
mean,
have.
yeah,
Yeah. Sorry. No. Finish.
everyone has its things. It was
Yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah.
and yeah,
We have a few topics ready, unlike last time. We said, last time was just like
yeah,
us talking about random shit.
yeah,
Now it's like almost that, but we have like a few topics ready, right?
yeah. I mean, not specific, but yes.
Yes. So anyway, how's your Christmas? Let's start with that because I haven't talked to you either, like from
Yeah, like we
last
didn't
time
talk to each other in
in a while. Yeah.
2 weeks,
Yeah.
2, 3, yeah.
How was your Christmas and New Year and all that?
Christmas was special for me
Oh
because
yeah.
my second grandma, I had three.
Okay.
Um, my second grandma
Wait.
just
Oh yeah.
yes,
Never mind. Never. How
yeah,
how does that work?
I'm just telling you. Okay, so because they live in another country, because I moved from my
Yeah.
home country, they just visited us for like a week, and it was so special because since I am not in my home country,
Yeah.
we've never really seen each other.
Yeah. How long?
On
For how long, man?
7 years.
Damn, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
I
Rough.
know, I know. Yeah. It was quite weird for the first time for me because when we moved to this country where I'm
Yeah.
living right now, I had to learn a whole new language and everything, and this
Yeah. Of
was
course.
so weird. Anyway, like they came for 1 week because my second grandma, my cousin, and my grandma's daughter,
Okay.
was the mom of my cousin, so they three lived
Okay.
together.
Okay.
They
Fair.
always did.
Fair.
Because like where I'm from, there is not a lot of money, so they had to live for a long time together.
Fair. I mean, I live with my mother and my grandmother too, not because of like money, but because like we actually have another apartment which we don't use. But
But
we just live together because first of all it's easier, and my grandma's pretty old and she's like 84. So, and we never like me and my mom never really felt the need to move out, like we're
really,
we're fine here, yeah. So like
that's
we
nice. So
could, but we don't.
yeah, it's not financial; it's more like a family spirit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So they came. It was really special because they never were here.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that no one ever was here from our family. Not
Okay.
for Christmas. They were the only ones who visited us.
Yeah.
Also, it has financial limitations because it's really really expensive to come here
Mhm.
and go back home. So that's why
Did they fly or?
they came with the train.
Oh,
You
okay,
wouldn't even
that's cool.
believe. Yeah, eight
I've
hours.
I mean, I like when I go to Croatia, like for um fuck, dude. I basically on a vacation kind of, but obviously it's not my vacation. It's more like
Yeah,
my mother's vacation. I'm just like along for the ride, right? We always take the bus, and it's like
yeah.
between 10 to 12 hours.
Oh, I see.
But like I love it. Like I'd prefer that over a plane because like I love, just simply
Looking out the window.
enjoying the travel pretty much. Like I fucking put on some music. I stare out the window, and it's pretty cool. And we usually travel at night, so I get some sleep as well. And yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, honestly.
You enjoy the view, right?
Yeah, I enjoy just vibing with some music, staring out the window.
I see.
Yeah,
Being with your mom.
yeah, exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's quite funny because this year was the first year when our Christmas tree was bigger than me, like taller. Because
Oh,
I'm
nice.
192,
Yeah.
and it was such a bliss to see a tree that's bigger than me.
Yeah, by the way,
Taller.
192 is like 6 feet two
More than
for all
60,
you 6 feet two for all you freedom lovers out there.
6, 2, 6.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's 6 feet two at least.
freedom lovers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. Um, how was yours? Because I think that's all I gotta say. It was pretty special because it was with part of the family who I
Yeah, I
didn't see in a
respect
while.
that.
So it's,
So
yeah,
wait, you celebrate it? You celebrated it on the 25th, right?
yeah.
Because you're. I forgot Catholic. Holy shit! I forgot the word for a
You
second.
forgot the word.
I legitimately yes. We don't talk about that. I'm leaving it in, but we don't talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Okay, okay.
Anyway, so since we're like, I'm personally like an agnostic atheist, but like in Serbia, like I'd say like around 95% of the country is Orthodox. So like we don't celebrate it on the 25th. We celebrate it on the 7th of January.
Oh yeah, like the Russians.
Yeah, like well, Orthodox Christians do pretty
Yeah.
celebrate on the 7th, and we have like today's the 15th if I'm not wrong. Yesterday was like the Orthodox New Year, which was like really bullshit in my opinion. Like,
So what's the bullshit?
huh?
Why is it bullshit?
I mean, like, because it just makes no sense to me. Like, it's two different calendars, you know. Like, do you know why like Orthodox Christians celebrate it on
Wait,
like
two
7th?
different calendars? I'm so stupid. I didn't know it.
Yeah, because like I don't remember what year it was, but basically there are like two calendars that the churches use. So Julius Caesar made one of them
Yeah.
in like 40 something BC.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good calendar, right, for the time.
Yeah.
Do you want a history lesson or no? Quickly, just tell me.
No. No,
No.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I'm quickly going to fill in here because I don't think I did a very good job at explaining this. So to those of you who do want a history lesson, basically, Julius Caesar was the Pontifex Maximus of Rome. Now, what the Pontifex Maximus was, it was the highest chief priest position or whatever in ancient Rome, and basically the Pontifex Maximus was a lifetime appointment, and he had a few roles, I guess, or a few assignments. I guess I think I explained that pretty well. I don't know. Basically, one of those assignments was to adjust the calendar whenever was necessary, because the Roman calendar, as I'm pretty sure I've mentioned, was off, and it was off, by a pretty significant amount. So the Pontifex Maximus had to adjust the calendar pretty frequently. And so Caesar was like, actually, no, why would I do that? Eventually, at least, he came to the realization that he should just make a better calendar, and he did so with the help of the ancient Egyptians, because they had a very good calendar, and he pretty much copied their system. What they did is they used a calendar with 12 months, 30 days each, so that's 360 days, and then they just added 5 days, like at the end of the year. I'm pretty sure they just added 5 days, like which aren't a part of any month, if that makes sense. I don't know why they did it, but it was 365 days it worked for them. So that's what they did. Now Caesar did this, well, he kind of took that calendar, except he spread out those 5 days within some months of the year. So because he didn't want to have 5 days outside of any month. And also he took 2 days away from February because the Romans believed February to be an unlucky month, so he wanted to make it shorter. And he put them again in July and August. I don't know where those the exact days, but you get the idea. He took 2 days from February and he put them somewhere else. And then he said they were also going to add one month to February every fourth year, and that's how we got leap years. But yeah, that was the Caesarian, Julian, whatever you want to call it, calendar. Hopefully I did a pretty good job at explaining that. If not, you can look it up for yourself. And yeah, back to the podcast now. So I'm not going to get into the reasoning why. It was a pretty good calendar, but it's kind of... it's not perfect, basically. It loses a day. Like, it's behind the solar year. You know what a solar year is, right?
You know what? Tell me. I'm curious. You made me curious.
Yeah, so a solar year is like the time it takes for Earth to, go around the sun. The solar year from Earth's perspective, at least, right?
Yes.
And the Caesarean calendar is what it's called. It goes like, it's slightly not well made, because what he did was every year has 365 days, and every fourth year has 366, right? Because they were like, that's good enough,
Yeah.
But the thing is, the Earth's year isn't 365 days and 6 hours. The Earth's year is actually 365 days, 5 hours, and it's slightly less, basically. I don't know how many minutes, but it's slightly less.
Yeah.
So what the Gregorians did, in the new calendar, I'm pretty sure that was like I'm sure it was way later. I don't know when.
It was in the 1500s.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What they did was they kept that, so like 365, and then a leap year every 4 years.
Yes.
But if a year can be divided by 100, so basically 1100, then it's not a leap year. If it's divisible by 4 and 100, it's not a leap year. But if it's divisible by 4, 100, and 400, it is still a leap year.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty confusing.
Oh my god.
But that fixed it. So now we're like, I'm pretty sure we lose like a day every like I heard it was like every like something like 12,000 years or something, which was like they were like good enough for that. That was good enough for them. And so the Catholic Church uses the Gregorian calendar, but the Orthodox Church doesn't. The Orthodox Church uses the Caesarean calendar, whatever you want to call it. And so like by now, like the Caesarean calendar is 14 days behind.
14.
Yes. In like so we lost 14 days in like 2,000 years.
Wait. So it's the 1st of January for the Caesarean?
No. It's 29th. 14 days in front, whatever. Not behind. My bad.
Front.
Yeah, in front. So it's the 29th now. Would be the 29th
of January.
Yes. And so like that's why the Orthodox Christians celebrate everything 14 days later. And by everything I mean New Year and
Wait. So you don't use that, do you?
No. It's still the 15th year, but like only the church uses it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of stupid in my opinion. Like, why would you use an inferior calendar?
Yeah, because everyone uses the Gregorian.
Yeah, like we use it. If someone asks me what date it is, I'd be like 15th. No one's ever gonna answer like 29th. Like they can be as hardcore Orthodox as they want to. They're never gonna tell you it's the 29th today, right?
Because it's not.
Because it's not. Yeah. Pretty much.
So I wanted to talk about coronavirus. I mean, COVID, SARS-CoV, whatever you want to call it.
The C word.
The C word, yes.
The C word.
That's the perfect name for it.
No,
I wanted to... Yes?
We're getting demonetized just because you said it.
Yeah.
But we're not monetized anyway, so fuck you, YouTube.
You, YouTube. So, what do you think is the reason why this whole topic came, Max? So this virus appeared. We also obviously know about it from the media.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the reason? What?
Fuck the media.
Actually. So what do you think is the reason why the initial communications went in such a direction that there was not really a trust in science in the average population, even at the beginning?
Can you kind of rephrase that a bit?
People don't like science because they don't understand it. Why there was no trust in the vaccine and the science, even, okay, not the vaccine, but at the very beginning when coronavirus appeared, why there was no trust from the average population to the scientists, to the science from the people?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think they've proven the people that used to be called, including myself, conspiracy theorists for believing that, like COVID is overblown and out of proportions, right?
Yeah.
I think we've been proven right by CDC and Fauci and everyone else. Like, Fauci is a great example. He's lost all credibility due to COVID. Like, really? No one trusts him anymore because he's, he actually, so do you want... Okay, I'll talk about it and we'll see. We'll leave it in. Simple.
All right.
So basically, I don't know. Do you know what Project Veritas is?
No.
No, not it's not bipartisan, non-partisan. Uh, kind of not really a charity, but it's like a journalist group, a
Yeah.
non-profit journalist group, which they like do actual journalism, right? So they've exposed many people. They've exposed, for example, CNN producers for being pedophiles.
Yes.
They've exposed uh, Twitter. I don't know what it was. It was like a very important figure at Twitter. I forgot like the exact position. For pretty just straight out lying, like saying one thing, in public and doing completely another thing behind closed doors at Twitter. So like they do actual journalism, and so recently they have received classified or documents that were supposed to be at least classified about gain of function research funding at the Wuhan Institute
Yeah.
for Virology. If you do you know what gain of function is?
You know what?
Gain of function research when it comes to viruses.
Not really. I didn't dive into that
Yeah,
yet.
gain of function is research that makes the virus stronger in a sense. It might spread faster, it might be deadlier, or things like that, right?
Yeah.
And so there was a U.S. government agency within the Department of Defense or whatever
Yeah.
it's called, which like the Wuhan Institute of Virology approached them for funding, and
Yes.
they said no because they thought it was too dangerous. So
Yes.
and so I've heard James Akifi, he's like the CEO of Project Veritas. He was like,
Yeah.
the people that make nukes, that they thought this was too dangerous to fund, right? So that tells you something. And so basically they said no, but then do you know what the NIH is? The National Institute of Health in America.
Okay.
That's like the organization Fauci works for. He's like on the up at the top. I'm not like 100% sure about any of their positions because I'm not American, right? But basically, they didn't say no. They actually agreed to do funding with them. Well, they funded them, and they did research with them in Wuhan and in several facilities across America, right? And so, like, it never says for what exactly gain of function the research is, but the Wuhan Institute was doing research that this is well known fact on bat originated coronaviruses.
Yes.
So it is you can assume what they were doing research
Yeah.
on, right?
So and then the media comes up and says something completely different.
No, the media didn't cover it at
Oh,
all.
the media
No
didn't
one
cover.
covered it. No one covered. Well, this came out like a week ago, pretty much, a bit less.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm stupid.
Yeah,
So,
this came out like a week ago.
oh, okay.
No one's covered it.
So,
CNN,
okay.
MSNBC, Fox News, no one's covered it.
You mean yet?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, like,
I don't
we
think
know.
they will.
Well, we'll see. We all know that the media lies.
Of course.
Okay, that's okay. That's a little bit of a
No, it's true. They lie. Simple. Fake
no.
news.
Yeah.
But
There
oh
are.
yeah, also one more thing. On Twitter, exposed Fauci was trending in America with like 124,000 tweets within a day. So at
What?
least that was something. Hashtag exposed Fauci was trending on Twitter in the
Oh.
US with like 124,000 tweets. Obviously at number one, and number two had like 10,000. So at least,
Oh yeah. I see.
people were doing something, right? If the
Yeah.
media is not going to do it, you have to take it into your own
Yeah.
hands.
So the stereotype is that the media lies. Not always, but the stereotype in itself is that media is never trust the media and such.
Exactly.
So that's why I asked. Do you think this trust at the beginning from the average population to the scientists to the science was not present? So we didn't trust, or like people didn't trust the science because the media was showing them a too early coronavirus, because you know how if you wanna search something, like as a scientist, if you wanna know something more about a virus or something, you have to research, and it
course.
takes time.
Of
The
course.
media is always faster than the scientists, than the science. So, the day coronavirus came, all the media started to tweet about this and show posts and write things which were total bullshit because they like to over exaggerate things, first of
Yeah.
all.
I
Second of
mean,
all, yeah.
their ratings depend on it, right? So like they have to be fast, or they're not simply like if you're the second to a story, no one's gonna
Yeah.
care, right? Which doesn't justify what they do, by the way. It doesn't justify it at all.
It
But
doesn't.
it has become the norm, and so like
Yeah.
they just don't do research at all. They just print out random facts that are not
Yeah.
facts at all.
Yeah.
And I think depending on people, some people blindly trust the media, and some people simply don't trust the word that comes out of their mouth.
Yeah,
And
because
I think you can like tell on the political spectrum, especially in America, which side does, which side doesn't. But basically, the people that blindly trust the media, they're gonna obviously trust what everyone says,
yes.
what everyone on said media says, and people that don't aren't.
So
But
do you think? Yeah.
but what they did wrong. Well, they always do this. Everyone does this. Both sides, they only allowed their the scientists that agree with them, right?
Yeah.
On like, for example, CNN, they only allowed left-wing scientists on, and
Yeah.
Fox right-wing and shit like that. No, like if you only, obviously you should hear both sides of the story and make
Yeah,
up your
for
own
sure.
mind, and obviously alongside that do your own research and everything.
Yeah.
But
Be skeptical.
they simply did a horrible job at covering it. But I think they were also like panicking a lot, because if you look at ratings, like this has like they want to get their ratings back up. CNN has lost over 90% of their viewership ever since Trump left office. For
So
example.
like a year ago.
Yeah, they literally lost 90% of their viewership.
90%.
Yeah, which is huge. Like that's massive. Like they're literally panicking, and
Yeah.
MSNBC lost like 60%, and Fox News lost like 40% or something like that.
Yeah.
So they weren't hit quite as hard, but they were hit very hard too.
Yeah, they were too.
Yeah. So like they need to get their ratings back up pretty much.
They
Like,
do. They do.
I don't know, do you follow Joe Rogan? He did like
really.
episodes with he did episodes with two very high profile scientists.
Okay.
And the main one that I'm going to talk about really quickly is Dr. Robert Malone. He is a scientist that has spent his entire life his entire professional career to researching mRNA vaccines, and he is an avid anti-vaxxer when it comes to COVID. He has been deemed a conspiracy theorist. Now, this is a man that, as I said, he has spent his entire life developing vaccines similar to this, researching
so he knows
into
what
them.
he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. But, and he's, why is he an anti-vaxxer? Because he believes that this is extremely rushed, that research hasn't been done, which is true, which is simply true.
It is. Yeah.
And if you look at the data, the vaccine doesn't really protect you, especially against Omicron. Against Delta, it helps.
That's the thing.
The data, at least, suggests it helps with reducing hospitalizations, but Omicron in itself is very harmless. It's very harmless.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't really read articles about Omicron, so I have to do that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite interesting. I'm
The
glad
data we have right now suggests that it spreads much faster than any variants we've had before, but
Yeah.
it is much more harmless, which
Yeah.
it makes sense, because a virus needs you as its host, right?
Yeah.
And if the virus kills you, that you're obviously you can no longer be the host. So it makes sense for the virus to spread faster and be less lethal.
Yes.
Right.
Wait, if you say it like that, yes, actually.
Exactly.
I don't know why. I have two things, actually three.
Yeah.
First of all the kids that were in school where I'm going, the kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how can you say it?
I mean
18
students.
already. Students. Yeah.
Students.
Yeah.
There's a word for that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
just
good.
out of my mind today.
Yeah.
Everyone has to take a test every second day. Also, the ones who were vaccinated, and I'm like, dude, they were vaccinated. Why do you
Yeah,
have to?
no, like, we have, I'm pretty, like, we have seen what governments want to do, right, during this. There are a few countries that literally want, like, try to completely control every single aspect of your life because of COVID. And the best example is Australia. I don't know, do you know what's happening in Australia?
No, I don't.
But, yeah, pretty much. There was a story, this was a year ago, but there was a story where they, this is gonna sound horrible, killed dogs in like killed 15 dogs. The government killed 15 dogs in like a shelter, so people wouldn't go out of their houses to that shelter to like give them a home to
Wait,
not
what?
spread COVID. Yeah, they killed dogs, innocent animals, so people wouldn't go out of their houses to that shelter, you know, because people obviously are going to go to that shelter to, you know, maybe give them a new home, give the dogs, right?
Yeah.
A new home. They killed those dogs so the people wouldn't do that because they didn't want those people spreading and catching COVID outside their houses.
Yeah, I see.
That's
So to that,
that's
I
literally mentally insane. That's
It is.
mentally insane.
it is. To that, I would say a an argument which I heard. I saw it on Instagram as a post.
Yeah.
That a unvaccinated talks to a vaccinated, and the unvaccinated tells the vaccinated person that even though you are vaccinated, you can still catch COVID.
Yeah.
And
Of course.
to that, yeah, of course it is. It's a fact, and
Yeah,
nobody
everyone
can
knows this.
deny that. Yes. And
Now the story isn't like the story was at first like, oh, it's gonna stop you from getting COVID. Now it's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
not gonna stop you. It's just gonna
it's not- it's not-
reduce the symptoms.
Yeah, and the vaccinated person said, I can play tennis, and Serena Williams can play also tennis, but I cannot play as good tennis as Serena Williams. Do you understand the meme?
Wait,
Like,
okay, who says that?
It was just a meme.
Okay.
That the argument is that if you are vaccinated, there is a less chance for you to spread the virus. What do you think
That's
about
not
that?
true. I don't. We have. There's no data to suggest that that's true. I don't think.
Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't like, but I haven't seen any for sure.
Do you think you got COVID the last 2 years? Because I don't think I did, and I'm not vaccinated.
I know I haven't.
You haven't.
Yeah. No. I've
And you're
gotten.
awesome.
I've gotten a cold, like a few
Yeah.
times, but I haven't gotten COVID. I've only gotten tested once in the past 2
Oh, okay.
years. Simply because like even if I get it, I don't care. Because like, I've only tested when I told you I went to Croatia, and I needed it to cross the border. It was like, I'm okay with that. Like
Yeah, well,
but
Okay.
but other than
Yeah.
that, I've never gotten tested.
Yeah.
No.
Well, okay. To be fair to the vaccinated people, maybe we got it. We just didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. To be honest, I don't mind. Like, I don't care whether you're vaccinated or not. I think that like, I'm personally not like I'm against the vaccine. But if you think it's good for you and you want to take it, I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. I have like, for example, Ben Shapiro. He's like one of my favorite.
I look at
political-
shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Ben Shapiro is like one of my favorite political commentators. He's like pro-vaccine, but I don't care. Right, the problem, well, not the problem. The main thing is what everyone should be doing is you're against mandates, right? Because vaccine mandates literally take away your freedom. Everyone should have the freedom to choose whether they do get vaccinated or not.
Yes,
Right?
I don't have anything against pro-vaccine people too.
Yeah, no, I like, as I said, like if you want to get vaccinated, you should get
Yeah.
vaccinated. That's up to you. Like, it's not I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to tell you whether to or whether to not get it. I'm
Even a
not going to
doctor
get it.
cannot tell you.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Even a doctor cannot tell you exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get it myself. You can. That's absolutely fine. but just don't force anyone else to if they don't want to.
That's
Right?
the thing. Yes.
That's like my attitude.
Yeah, because the freedom of choice will lose its meaning the moment when there is a law that you have to get vaccinated.
Yeah, luckily, talking about America now, Supreme Court has kind of did the right thing, but I say kind of. Do you know or no?
No, tell me.
Okay, so I am just editing this again, and the audio was a bit glitchy in this next like minute and a half, so I'm just gonna record. Basically, I'm just gonna repeat what I said because it's pretty much unusable. I don't know why, but it fixes itself after like a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Anyway, also yeah, the reason let's get this out. Why not? The reason that this is being uploaded so late, we recorded this like 12 days ago, and I'm just editing. I'm finishing up the editing now because I was sick. I was pretty sick. I don't know was it COVID or not, but as I stated, I don't really care because I believe that everyone's going to get it eventually. So like I'm a healthy young man, a 15-year-old. I have no other health issues, so I'll be fine, even if I do get it. And I'm better now. That's all that matters. Anyway, so we were talking about the Supreme Court ruling, as you probably heard. Basically, the Biden administration, they put out a mandate for two different mandates. One was for healthcare workers, stating that all healthcare workers need to get vaccinated or they will lose their jobs, and the other one being the large business, large employer, whatever you want to call it, mandate, where they had every single company or business with over 100 employees have those those employees would have to be vaccinated, or again they lose their jobs. I think I did a good job at explaining that, hopefully. And so basically the Supreme Court ruled. Now this isn't new news anymore. This happened like 2 weeks ago, but it was like a day ago when we were recording this. Basically they struck down the one for businesses, large employers, and made it legal. However, they let the healthcare worker one pass, stay in power, whatever you want to call it, with a 5-4 ruling, and they struck down the other one with a 6-3 ruling along the conservative liberal line in the court. And so, we discussed this a bit, but they have failed healthcare workers mainly, and I feel like they have still failed America, even though they struck down the main one, because, as I said, everyone should have the individual freedom to make a decision. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the podcast.
I see. So they kinda succeeded.
I wouldn't call it a success because like the mandate affects over 10 million healthcare workers.
Yeah.
Who are going to pretty much either lose their jobs now or get vaccinated against their will.
Well, yeah, and that's definitely not freedom of choice.
No, because like they say like, oh yeah, it is the freedom of choice, but like it's a blackmail. It's like, oh, you either get vaccinated or you lose your job. That's not freedom.
That's not no.
That's a blackmail.
Yeah, that's just simply oppression.
Yeah.
So back to media. So do you think then that the media kinda controls how people think? I mean, the ones who are not skeptic. So
yeah,
the
for sure.
The media can make people untrust science, literally.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, like as a conservative myself, I'm open about it. I'm much more distrustful than everything around COVID now, simply because of the media, because of how they cover it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't trust a word that comes out of their mouth. Like, I haven't for a while, but this just like kind of not accelerated that, but approved that, like, because they've proven to me that they're liars. Simple.
Yeah.
And people that do trust them are going to be trustful. And I think it's just like accelerated the rift in the world Like,
I did.
I don't
Like, the people who will watch this, if there will be people
know.
who
There
will be
will, there
watching
will.
this,
Trust. Maybe,
I hope.
maybe in like 50 years' time, someone randomly
Yeah,
stumbles upon
actually,
this and they're like, "Oh,
yes.
look at
Oh my god.
how
Look at
naive they were," or something.
oh
Because like in 50 years' time, they know everything. Like,
yeah,
where did it come from? Was it actually a huge conspiracy theory or not? And
yeah,
everything. And they're like, "Oh, look at how these guys were so naive."
yeah. It's gonna be so
Yeah.
funny. Do you think there is a post-COVID? Oh, and
Uh,
also, sorry, I forgot to
no,
say.
I understand the question, but yeah,
No.
if there's
I
anything
just
else.
wanted to say to the last topic, which I
Yeah.
forgot. To the people who are gonna watch this, we are not conspiracy theorists. We believe that COVID is there. We are just skeptical about it. That's all.
No, I don't. Yeah, I've never like held the view that COVID isn't real. You know, it's
Yeah,
pretty.
it is.
I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
And you know, the people that like, especially on the right, the people that were like extremely stupid talking about saying that COVID isn't real. That's like an extremely slim minority of people. I personally haven't met anyone, no matter
me neither.
what their political view is, who believes that COVID isn't real or that the vaccines have microchips in them or whatever. Right?
Dude, you have your fucking phone in your pockets all
Yeah,
the time.
like
That's also
I haven't met any, but they gave them ammo, right? They gave them ammo to call everyone who like doubts the effectiveness of the vaccine conspiracy theorists because, you know, people have said shit like that I've just mentioned.
yeah.
They really fucked up, but you know, whatever. So anyway,
Yeah.
you asked me, do I think there's a post-COVID?
Yeah.
Personally, I think right now we could come back like to a normal life if people just started thinking, you know?
In a sense of what?
Well, first of all, as I said, Omicron is a cold. It's pretty much a cold. I know people who have had it. No one has had any major symptoms. It was like it was rough for a few days, you know, like lots of coughing, sneezing, maybe a headache or something like that. You know, throat, a sore throat, and that was pretty much it. They're fine.
But
Like
yeah.
it's a cold. Now we're getting, for example, from Fauci, although you know you shouldn't trust him. He said of all people that everyone on the planet is going to catch Omicron eventually, and
That's the theory. Yeah, we heard this in school too.
yeah, that's true. I'm pretty that is true. In my opinion, everyone is going to catch COVID eventually. Whether it's Omicron or something else.
Yeah. I mean, I know people whose relatives died because of COVID. So
Yeah, me too. But the problem is you have to like distinguish. People haven't done this, you know, especially when it comes to like death tolls. Whether they died from COVID or they died with COVID, those are two very different things, right?
what's the difference for you?
Well, people who have died from COVID are people that died because of COVID. You know,
Yeah.
like COVID killed them. People that die with COVID, they're still counted as people who died from COVID, even though they didn't. For example, someone like this is a very uncommon example, but it happened. Like I know about like an example where this happened. A dude had COVID. He got
Yeah.
shot to death, and he got registered as a COVID death.
That's
I'm pretty sure COVID didn't kill the man, right?
Yeah, I see.
Or for example, people that have cancer or you know terminal illnesses like that,
Yeah.
and they catch COVID, they're counted as deaths from COVID,
from-
even though they
yeah.
just died with COVID.
Yeah, for example, a pretty good example could be melanoma, which is lung cancer.
Yeah,
And since COVID is the most dangerous to people with lung problems and cardio and
old
vascular-
people and fat
Yeah.
people, yeah,
and cardiovascular
vascular,
disease.
yes,
A melanoma can be registered as a COVID death so easily because the two are attacking the same organ, so you can just say, yeah, it was
yeah,
COVID.
yeah, exactly. But I don't like. I think you know people are going to have to get used to living with COVID because it's not going to go away. In my opinion, it is far too big to go away. It spreads
Well,
far too easily.
I don't know if
Um,
yeah.
like the only way for it to completely go away is for someone to actually come up with a vaccine that works, unlike these. But that's gonna take like probably even like more than a decade, in my opinion.
Yeah, 10, 20 years.
Yeah. So like, you can't live in perpetual fear for another 10 years. Like,
I mean, you can.
you can, but like,
It's fucked up life.
yeah. People are just gonna have to learn to live with it. And I think what COVID, like one of the very few good things COVID has done, is it made, I think it made people much more aware of how evil governments are in general, simply because of like how much they've used COVID to simply take control over everyone,
Only the people who think that COVID was a governmental plan.
No, I don't think COVID was a governmental plan. I think I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I don't think anyone planned for COVID to get out, but it still like proved to me how evil governments are, because they were opportunistic. They saw an opportunity to grab so much control, and they just took it. Right? They started fear mongering, and it worked, sadly, on a lot of people.
Yeah. It's actually really interesting to think about how our lives change in a like almost
in a few
2 years.
Yeah.
It's almost 2 years. Like in 2 months, it's gonna be the second year of COVID. Like think about that.
No, third.
No, it was 2019. Wait, you're 2019 to 2020 is one.
Yeah, 2020, 2020, 2021, and we're gonna be entering the
3
third.
years, dude.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't it 2020?
Yeah, the whole of 2020, whole of 2021, and now we're gonna be entering the third year.
From 2020 to 2021 is one. From 2021 to 2022 is two.
And now we're entering the third year.
Oh, you're right. Oh my. Yeah, that's what I meant. So
Yeah.
it's around for 2 years, and we're gonna be entering the third year in March.
Yeah, I've seen like so many people post this. It's now year 3 of 15 days to slow the spread.
Yeah, 15 days, dude.
Yeah, you remember how at the beginning they were like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna lock down for like 15 days to slow the spread or whatever."
We had 50 times the 15 days already.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's still not gone.
No,
Also, I don't think that it'll be gone.
Yeah, me neither.
People, it will get milder, in my opinion, and
It already has, honestly.
masks won't be a necessity, but there will be some people who, when they travel with bus, they will choose to wear a mask. That's what
fine.
I think.
I don't remember the last time I wore a mask personally.
Like in Japan or something.
Yeah. No, people in Japan, they like always wear masks even before COVID.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It's gonna be like in Japan.
Yeah,
Because
I don't. I think like some people will choose to, some people won't. Like in Serbia, for example, I told you I personally don't remember the last time I wore a mask. When I'm in a bus, I'd say probably like at least 70% of people don't wear them anymore.
No.
I think we have done pretty well to just like Serbia. For example, when the government wanted to impose lockdowns or mandates, people did a good job of going out on the street, didn't let them to, and we have pretty much not fully came back to living a normal life, for example, but mainly we have. So like the main thing that comes to mind is in Serbia, we after 8 o'clock, if you're like going out, you do need a vaccine or a negative test.
Or a test.
Yeah, or a negative test. But other than that, like that's pretty much it. That's not a small thing, by the way. Like obviously that's fucked up as well. But it's much better than some other places.
So there is this law, not law, but like a regulation. Either you have to be vaccinated or you have to be through COVID once, and you have to show a test that you have been through it once.
COVID,
which costs in euros 25, and they do not accept a negative test.
Tests, or?
Yeah, not an old test, not even a 48-hour test.
Yeah.
You cannot go to to any places with a normal test from your doctor. You have to get a so-called PCR test
Yeah, I
to
mean,
go.
like
So.
in my opinion, like there are like 8, I think, large countries that I'd say most people assumed were like very good when it comes to freedom, have proven they're not, and they would be the United States, Canada, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, Austria, Australia, and New Zealand.
Yeah.
They have pretty much. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. They have pretty much like tried to, and in some cases like Australia, New Zealand, Austria, Germany, managed to strip pretty much the last bit of freedom their citizens have now.
Oh yes, yes, they did. They did. And how well?
Extremely well.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, like all of this stops when people like realize that how democratic governments are supposed to work. The government does not have power over you. You have power over the government. And when people realize that, this whole thing ends.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Because
For
who's the
example,
government supposed to work for? For you. You elect
yeah,
the government. You pay
yeah.
the government in your taxes, right? If you if they turn evil, you can easily either vote them out, or if that is impossible for whatever reason, overthrow them.
If your country is in fact democratic, but only then, because if it's a dictatorship,
Of
then you're
course.
pretty much fucked.
Yeah, but all of these countries that I've named would be
Yeah, they are.
constitutional republics. So
I
yeah,
mean, that's how they call themselves, and we don't
yeah.
know how it is actually, because
I
we
mean,
don't live
they
there.
are like you have free elections in all those countries. You have a constitution, and you
Yeah,
have a government that draws up legislation and passes it. That is pretty much what a constitutional republic does.
but also then there come people who just don't believe anything, and they just create conspiracy theories about how democratic countries are not democratic. For example, I mean, if you think about it,
That okay,
democracy.
that's actually true. In a sense that like a pure democracy
Yeah,
would be a country without government. A pure democracy would be a country where you have the smallest issue, like whatever you can think of, everyone votes on it, right?
democracy.
A pure democracy in that sense.
Yeah,
That's why, for example, America isn't a democracy. America is a constitutional republic. You have a constitution that the government follows. You have people who elect the government,
yeah,
and you have the government which votes on the smallest issues, for example,
yeah,
or larger ones. So the people don't vote on issues. The people elect other people who vote on issues. That's how
yeah,
a constitutional republic works. That's
yeah,
why saying that no country is truly democratic is true, because as I said, people would have to like vote on everything, and that is
yeah.
that is
Also,
simply unpractical,
yeah,
right?
it is, and the mere fact that when you have no right to choose what to do with your body is also a pretty good example that your country is not democratic, because they not allow you to do with your body what you want. For example, the vaccination.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
uh, somewhere a vaccination protocol comes to life and it will be in law, then it's not a democracy anymore.
Exactly. But like there's also within America there's a huge difference, right? Within America itself, because obviously there are different states. So if you look at Florida or Texas, which are the most red, states in America pretty much,
Yeah.
especially Texas, people have not worried about COVID there in like years now at this point. They simply stopped caring. And
Really?
like in Florida, for example, they had like the governor Ron DeSantis, who is like a very potential, like he could be the 2024 president of America because he's done so well. It's like depending on who the Republicans send, because I'm just gonna go off track here. The Democrats, they want Hillary to run. Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton's favorite pastime is losing elections. So, like, if she does end up running, it's pretty much going to be a free presidential election for the Republicans. And also, I think Biden has fucked up the Democratic Party so much, like, with how incompetent he's been.
Biden is a living zombie.
Yeah.
In a tombstone.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm like, it's pretty much Obama that's running things, right? Biden has nothing. Look, Biden just does what he's told. Biden is a puppet, but like, depending on, as I said, who wins, in my opinion, the Republican primaries, that person is going to end up winning the whole election. I don't think the Democrats stand a chance in the 2024 presidential election. And so there are, like, pretty much three options. There have been talks of a Trump-DeSantis card, where DeSantis is his vice president, and then he ends up running in 28. Or a Trump versus DeSantis, where DeSantis doesn't want to be his vice president, he wants to be president on his own, which would be, in my opinion at least, a close election, because even though personally I like Trump, I think he should do another term. He's not, like, very popular amongst independents, right? Because now in America, you know, Trump, when he talks in a way that appeals to Republicans.
Yeah.
Right? But that's, like, not what you're supposed to do, because Republicans are going to end up voting for Trump anyways. Like, he shouldn't have to appeal to them anymore, because they already like him. They're going to vote for him anyways. And the Democrats aren't going to vote for him. Simple as that. Or any Republican candidate. Doesn't matter whether it's Trump or not. You win elections with the independents, the people who don't have a party. And when Trump talks, he does not appeal to the independents. That's his main issue.
Yeah, I get it.
So, like, I think, you know, currently in primary polls, Trump is leading by, like, 47 points. He has, like, 60% of the, you know, Republicans in America. Well, polled Republicans said they would vote for him in the primaries. 13% said DeSantis, and 10% said Mike Pence. But I think that numbers are gonna. I think many more people would vote DeSantis, honestly, if he campaigned.
I see.
So, like,
Pretty
even though he does have, like, a 47-point lead, I don't think he would, you know, take it for sure if DeSantis decided to run against him as opposed to alongside him.
I mean, yeah.
But
right.
yeah, anyway, he has been always, like, when it comes to legislation, when it comes to mandates, he has been a thorn in the side of the Biden administration. He has never let a single mask or vaccine mandate hit Florida. He has stopped state funding going to schools that require children to wear masks, so, which is an amazing thing as well, right?
Yeah.
He has just fought them so much, and he has won every time.
Yeah, because masks,
Of
it's
course.
just normal.
Of course. Also, I'm just a quick thing out. I don't know, do you know this, but there have been studies that have shown that children wearing masks have much less empathy for each other than children not wearing masks.
Really?
Yes, because it appears that not just masks, but any time a child doesn't see another child's face, they have much less empathy, and masks, you know, do that.
Corona is causing psychological dismantlements amongst children.
Maybe.
That's wow. That's worse than doing drugs, bro. Own the word of drugs.
Okay.
How do you what do you think about drugs in general? Like, do they how do they start? How does one decide to take drugs? What's your
Well, that depends, right? First of all, you know, what kind of drugs we're talking about. Talking about hardcore drugs, I don't consider weed a drug, first of all. I think weed is like... I'd say weed is much more similar to, for example, alcohol.
Yeah.
In a sense that, you know, it's kind of like a bit like when you're drunk and when you do weed. sadly, I'm a boring dude. I'm 15 and I have never gotten drunk or done weed in my life. So, I can't really...
Unfortunately, okay.
What?
You said unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm boring.
Oh no, not that, but you said unfortunately you didn't take any.
No, I said, unfortunately, I'm boring. That's
Oh
what
yeah,
I meant.
yeah, you are, of course.
And so, like, I'd say, like, when you're drunk, like, from what I've, heard or whatever, it's, well, it's kind of like a distorted state of mind slightly, but especially when you're, like, high, it's, like, in a fun way, and weed doesn't really have any long-term consequences that we're aware of.
It doesn't. And you cannot smoke yourself to death with weed.
So, like, talking about it, I'm, like, for example, weed has been decriminalized in many places now, and I'm all for it. Like, I don't think owning, for example, like, having like a few blunts should be able to, like, put you in jail, especially if it's for, like, personal use. Like, fuck it. Like, I don't mind people that do weed at all, right? Like,
because
some of my favorite. So, for example, some of my favorite. Sorry for cutting you out. Let me just finish. Some of my favorite, like, podcasters, for example, they literally do weed on the show. I don't give a shit.
In Elon Musk style or what?
Yeah, Elon Musk style.
That's nice. I mean, okay, yeah, that's weed. Weed is not so big of a problem.
Yeah.
It's almost like caffeine, but like in a stronger way.
I guess.
And
I also have never drunk coffee.
Never.
No, I've tried it. I've tried it once, and I was like, oh, this doesn't taste that good, and I just never did it again.
Maybe you didn't have sugar in it. That's why.
I did. I was like
Oh, you did?
It's like a latte, pretty much.
Nescafe latte. Yeah.
Oh
wow!
Like,
I didn't know that.
No, I was like, yeah, I tried. I was like, oh, that doesn't really taste that well, and I don't need it. Like, I know people drink coffee to stay up or whatever. I've never, like, had that need. So I was like, yeah, I'm God, not gonna drink it.
I drink so much coffee to stay up all night to study and such.
Fair.
It's crazy. I mean, yes, coffee and weed are not the same, but if we would put
make comparisons, like, weed is much closer to coffee than, like, cocaine, for example.
Yeah, and if we would put the properties of weed into coffee, it would be just a liquid weed.
Liquid weed, I like that.
Yeah, liquid weed.
maybe we should like go to, like, some place where weed is legal and just start selling liquid weed.
In the Netherlands, it is.
Yeah, for example.
Also, only in coffee shops and at home. You cannot smoke on the street. Did you know that? You can only smoke in designated coffee shops or at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know why. Maybe because of
the fumes.
Pollution. I don't think it's.
I think maybe because, like, so other people wouldn't inhale the fumes.
Yeah, like little kids.
I respect that. I don't mind that. Like, if you really want to fucking hit a blunt, you can, always go to that coffee shop or whatever.
Yeah. You could. And maybe. Why would you take drugs? Let's see.
Well, personally, I wouldn't.
Heartbreak?
No, as I said, like, personally, I would never take drugs.
Not you, but, like, one.
Yeah. No, I don't know, really. I think it's, I think it, first of all, depends on the type of environment you grew up in. For example, someone who has, like, grew up in a neighborhood where, gang violence is, relevant and happens a lot, obviously there's drugs there, and, you would kind of be used to it from a young age, exposed to it from a young age. I think those type of people would start doing drugs, depending, right, on their attitude towards it, either much easier or like much harder. Much easier because, they were open to it, as I said, from a young age, and they've seen so many people do drugs, and they were like, it's not a big deal. Or much harder if, for example, they've had friends who have died from drugs,
Yeah.
And then they would be like, yeah, I'm not gonna end up like them.
Yeah, I mean, I had a friend who was, at the time, I think, 19 years old, and he never drank, never smoked, never did drugs. It was 3 or 4 years ago, and as I know, he still didn't do it. Like he's like 23 already, and he
Yeah.
didn't do anything because, and I think this is a really good thing. He has a bad example. His dad is an alcoholic, and his lungs are totally busted.
Fucked. Yeah.
That's why, because he has a really good example.
Yeah. Like
Uh,
my. Oh yeah. Sorry. Finish it. I thought you were done.
and that's why he doesn't do it. So I think a bad example is at the end in long term good, but also in this reason it's bad because he didn't really have a dad. So also that's a complex thing.
Yeah. I guess. My dad. My dad doesn't live with me. My mom and my dad broke up like. I'm pretty sure maybe even before I was born. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And he lives pretty close. I can get over to him within less than half an hour. So it's not that
Yeah.
I never see him or whatever. But he's addicted to smoking,
Yeah.
and obviously he as he said is kind of like an example. He's been smoking for almost 25 years now. Well, not almost. I'm pretty sure more. I don't know when he started smoking, honestly, but I'm sure it's more than 25 years. And he struggles really. His breathing, he struggles with his breathing. He struggles with simply walking long distances, things like that, right?
I guess you're not even really connected with him on an emotional level, are you?
I mean, I am. I love him. I respect him a lot. He's a good man. I still I still think he's a very good man. He smokes, but whatever. I still love him a lot.
He cares about you.
Yeah, and I care about him, of course. I mean, he's my dad. Of course, he cares about me. Well,
I mean,
no, not of course. Okay, no,
always
yeah,
like, yeah,
not of
yeah.
course. Yeah, there are many examples actually. Never mind.
There are, yeah.
But it's still normal for a dad to care about his child, right?
It would. I think it's mandatory.
Well, yeah, of course.
Because if you make a kid's your own, you should take care about it
Of course.
and not just shit on it.
Um,
Heartbreak. I think heartbreak, or yeah, as you said, violence in your environment.
yeah, and being simply. I mean, I don't know. I think the main reason people would start doing drugs was simply getting into a bad crowd, right? Like, for example, how if I wanted to start doing drugs right now, of course I don't, but let's take an example. How would I get into it? You don't just go out on the street and find a dealer.
Yeah.
That's not how that works. It's much easier to have a friend who, exposes you to it. And that's what I mean when I say, getting into a bad crowd, right?
Yeah, in our school, they actually sell joints.
Yeah.
I have a classmate who has joints. He's 17 and he's selling to 15, 14-year-old kids. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And he says, good money. And I'm like, what? Good money? And I'm like, dude,
I mean,
you're just sick.
Fair enough. I respect it. Although, I'm pretty sure, when it comes to weed, it's you should not do it before a certain age because it could. I don't think I've seen any studies on this, but I've heard from, for example, people that online, right? Not people that I know, but podcasters or YouTubers or whatever you want to call them, that do use weed very regularly on a regular basis. I've heard from them. I don't know how true this is. I've never really cared about getting informed because I never really considered doing weed anyways. But they've said doing weed before I think it was around 20 was not good because it could harm your development when it comes to you can for example be shorter than you would be because you started doing weed earlier or things like that.
Yeah, I see. I've been also I saw one or two studies about drugs, but I unfortunately forgot about them because it was such a long time ago. And then I started to I started to get interest more in medicine, which you. Would you consider that?
Mm,
Well, I'm not a super smart guy, we have to say. I'm
mm-hmm.
just a regular dude who's talking about shit on the internet because he
Of
has nothing
course.
better to do.
Of course.
And I just started to look at these prefixes, medical terminology.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I've written 6 pages of prefixes, and I'm 1/3 finished with all of them.
Okay. And why are you
It's
doing that?
because I decided, because my grandma recently died from cancer, that I
Oh,
want
damn.
to help
My
people.
condolences.
Thank you. Um, and also when the mom of my cousin died last year, in July,
Mm-hmm.
I just realized after those 2 deaths,
Mm-hmm.
and my grandma, my third grandma, because I had 3, now I have 2,
Yep.
um, died of this. I really was curious how I could help her, or why this happened, or how this happened. Does it have an emotional connection to her health and such? And I just decided to. Um, I want on the planet. I want less people to experience this, because let me tell you,
Yeah, of
it's a
course.
horrible feeling.
Yeah.
I thought I am emotionless, and I'm not. I don't have emotions because I
What?
got cheated on twice, and then I thought my heart's out of ice, and then my grandma dies, and then like, dude,
I,
it's nothing compared to it.
I mean, that's kind of okay. Actually, I'm not going to comment on it. But yeah, I think honestly though, thinking about it, I think like a bigger emphasis should be on not like why people start, because like everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone knows drugs are bad for you. Like I
Yeah,
don't like even people that do drugs know drugs are bad for you. Like there's no one that thinks that smoking crack is like gonna make your life better in any way or whatever.
but
Um,
they know what they are bad. Why are they starting when they know that it's shitty? It's gonna fuck up your life. You know what I mean?
well, it can. I don't know. You can start with things that are not as hard and move on to like bigger things. So for like popping pills, things like lean or codeine or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, those still will eventually kill you, but it's like those are prescription medicines. Those are like things that you
Yes.
literally get prescribed, to treat certain illnesses. So, you can start like that. But I think what I wanted to say is, I think it's more important to talk about like how you can get out of it, when you are addicted to it, rather than, um how to stop people from getting addicted to it in the first place, because I think, it's really, really hard to like, we have people do a lot of things to stop people from getting addicted to drugs in the first place. But as I said, like everyone knows drugs are bad. Everyone knows, realistically, there's a very high chance you will get, killed by drugs
Yes,
and
of
things
course.
like that. So like there's not much more you can do, right? But I think a lot of people that might already be addicted to drugs, I think they're scared of, for example, if they go to rehab, they might be scared of being judged by their friends, their family, whoever,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
they might not understand how relatively easy it is to go into a program, or as I said, they might just be scared to like come out and tell everyone that they do have a problem.
yeah.
But in my opinion, like what people should be I guess doing is trying to make everyone aware, because you don't know like who has a problem realistically in your life. I don't know who has a problem in my life. You know, I think I don't know how, but like they should. Society should find a way to let them know that it's fine. No one's going to be disappointed. Like personally, if I had a friend, for example, I can use myself as an example. If I had a friend that told me, or whatever family member, doesn't matter, that they have a drug problem, I wouldn't be disappointed per se, and I'd be like,
Yeah, me neither.
I'd be more like proud, because it takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength to admit that you do have a problem
Yeah.
and that you do need help. You know?
But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. And you have to maintain a feeling in that person that it's okay that you feel like this,
Yeah.
and we together can find a solution for you.
Yeah, of course. Like it's well, I wouldn't call it easy, but it's not that hard to get into rehab if you really want to. I like the main part is like for example, some like you can't do it alone if you're addicted. Like you do need someone to pretty much force you to go to rehab.
Yeah, 'cause
Otherwise,
alone.
you're not gonna go. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
But if you do like have like a very close friend or your significant other or a family member, you who can force you to go to rehab, that's like the main way you can get better, in my opinion.
yeah, exactly. Because alone going to rehab, where will you get that willpower
Yeah,
from?
exactly,
Nowhere.
exactly. Like
You will need
you do
someone.
need someone to just like tell you you have to fucking go or you're gonna die.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no sugarcoating it there.
because you for yourself to decide to that okay, you need to go to rehab because otherwise you will die
Yeah, no, you
alone.
you can decide. It's fine. Like you can decide, hey, I want to go to rehab, but you're not actually gonna go to rehab.
No,
Like,
I mean deciding and going. It's
yeah,
almost impossible
yeah, exactly.
because no one's gonna tell you that yeah, it is really really good to go to rehab. So you have no reassurance from
I,
no
I
one.
wouldn't even say that. I'd say like you pretty much know that it's good to go to rehab, but like it's hard to go because you have like your mind, your body does not want you to go to rehab because
Yeah,
you are addicted. Even if you know that, like your addiction is bad for you, and most people do, like your mind and your whole body is used to it and is addicted and wants more. It doesn't want to stop taking drugs or whatever.
yeah, and your brain is gonna fall down, and your body's gonna take upon your brain, and you
Yeah, and
cannot change it.
yeah, and also like I'm not like again I have no evidence to back this up, but I think when you do start going to rehab, a very common side effect would be depression, clinical depression, because the amount of dopamine you get from taking drugs, for example, you're not going
Yeah,
to get that anymore, right? And obviously that could cause depression.
yeah.
And if you have no one to help you through it, whether it's a friend or a therapist or a family member or whatever, it can be very hard.
It can, yeah, and the worst thing, I think one of the worst mm, property for you to have in yourself, not including partners or anything or family members,
Hmm.
if you wanna achieve something, is procrastination. And I think I have the best example, which is my dad.
Hmm.
That he is the master of procrastination, and I was also. I really love to procrastinate up until like a year or so, because that's what I saw, and until 3 years ago, I didn't even think of it. Yeah, procrastination. I didn't even think of that there is a problem, and then slowly I started to realize that my dad didn't achieve anything because he was procrastinating, and like, dude, I gotta
Damn,
change
roasted.
because yeah, I gotta change because when if not, I'm gonna end up like my dad. I don't want it. I want a real life. I want a life where I don't have to constantly think about money because I never learned and I never got a good job. Okay, he had other problems too because his parents didn't really help him, but that's not the thing.
Hmm.
He could still be someone with a great education. He just doesn't want to do it because he doesn't think it will help him. And at the time, it will just take your time and learn for a bit and take that exam and all those things. And that's why I am. I also hate school because I it's fucking far away. But I know that if I'm stopping with this, if I stop going to school, I'm gonna end up liking it. And I don't want to do that. And I just maybe there is a self. Maybe there is in myself a little bit of urge to show him that I can be better than him,
Hmm.
but which is also not good because you should do it for yourself, which I am doing. But I think there is a little part of that which will be working on as well. Um, But in general, I want to do this for myself because I know that if I don't get better, I will end up like him. And also my big brother, who who was pretty much neglected by our father, uh, has the only diploma in our family, and he always told me that Kevin, you gotta learn, because otherwise you will be like our dad, and you don't want this and everything. And since we started talking more, like a year ago, we started talking almost every day. He told me what to do, and I got reassurance from him. And I'm much better now. I also watched videos about how to practice not to procrastinate, and it's been pretty good. I only have problems with foods. I am not fat, but sometimes when my dad and my mom are going to the shop, they buy sweets, and I sometimes eat them. But I always tell them not to buy it because it gets you fat and all.
I mean,
So I am trying to get.
that's
Sorry,
not really I wouldn't call that a big, depending on how much you eat, but I wouldn't really call that a big deal, right?
if you can manage yourself, then yes. But that's the problem with me. I am in constant fear that I cannot manage myself. If I see something and I start something, I have a fear that I will not be able to come out of this. Like, do you know Nico Caldo Avocado? The fat
Sadly, I
dude.
do.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't want to become like him,
That's pretty hard, to be honest.
because
My
because
guy is. Honestly, I don't know how he's still alive. Like,
me
I,
neither. And
I think he should have died like 10 times over by
yeah,
now.
and always um when I eat something, like a yogurt, or a, how do you call a whole chocolate? Because we call it a table of chocolate, but that's
Yeah, sure.
something uh, something else. Like a table is like where your computer sits on. How do you call it? Chocolate?
Well, it's called a table of chocolate, like in
Really?
English, yeah.
Okay. So a table of chocolate. Even when I eat a whole table of chocolate in one day, I am in a constant fear that I'm gonna become like him, because
Hmm.
I am in fear that I cannot control myself, because and that's also comes from procrastination. That's the other thing. Those two things are my main problems, and I don't think that it's really uncommon. I think many people suffer with this, like my dad. And what I want to say with this, that self discipline is so important for yourself and for your future. And the moment I realized, well, moment in the months that I realized how important it is, I started to care more about myself, and I got a sleep schedule and everything. And I think the aware should be made that self-discipline and taking care of yourself is the most important, because, as I told you, my dad is the best idea what not to become.
Hmm.
My solution is to just suppress this feeling, and my solution always is to over exaggerate, and then I know that I will not entirely I will not do it, because if I over exaggerate, I will get the enough discipline for myself to just say no, and I will stop.
Hmm. Fair
I
enough.
Maybe it's not healthy to over exaggerate yourself, but that's how I do it. Because when I play games, for example, I when I lose once, I am always think, okay, that's it, I'm shit, and then I'm really critical with myself. I don't know what you think about being critical to oneself.
I mean, depends. Like, you know, I do like to be critical towards myself simply because I believe it's like the best way to, improve. But, it, has a, I guess, border or a line that you have to draw where, like, past one point, it really does become unhealthy. And you kind of, like, you definitely do want to be critical of yourself, but not as, like, past that line, not too much, right?
what does too much mean for yourself? Because
I
I
don't
think
know.
our opinions.
Personally, I have no clue. Like, it's just like I mean, I've never really like gotten into that point where maybe like to the point where you just like simply feel bad about like how the way you're treating yourself. I don't know, but it's more like I don't have like a set border or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
it's just based on feeling.
Yeah, I see.
Like next time or now, whatever, I can talk about how I almost dropped out of school.
Oh, tell me.
Hey, do you want to do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm in ninth. Well, I guess ninth grade or first grade of high school, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so I've like it didn't come out of like nowhere because like I've always hated the school system. For example, I think it's horrible. I think the main problem with it is first of all you learn almost nothing of value, and secondly, even when you do learn things that will be valuable to you for whatever reason, it doesn't like the whole system. It doesn't encourage you to actually learn something. It just encourages you to memorize it, which are two very different things, right? Like I can if I have a test tomorrow, I can just like memorize the whole lecture or whatever. I'll forget about it in like a few days, but that doesn't matter because I already got like an A, right?
Yeah.
And so like I've always seen it as like a waste of time to like go there, effectively learn nothing. I've never really had a problem with passing or whatever. Like I've had good grades. That's not the problem. I've never really studied either, so I've just like gotten great. Like what I've done, right, in middle school. I don't know why this is relevant, but I've started talking about it. So whatever. When I went to class, I simply listened to what my teachers would say, and that was enough to like. That was enough to get me good grades. I've never really had to learn study at home.
You're lucky, dude.
My friends asked me, I was like, I don't remember the last time I studied at home. Like straight up. I think maybe like in 5th grade. I don't remember like actually studying at home since 5th grade. So yeah, that's rough. But then I went to like I went to high school, and also like I had like in 8th grade I had like a 4.0 average. So like, basically I don't know where our listeners are from, but where I live in Serbia, you have like it's pretty basic grading. You get like 1 to 5, 1 to 5.
4.0 it's like a B.
Yeah, exactly, a straight B. So like 1 to 5, 1's the worst, 5's the best. And I like in 8th grade I had a 4.0 average for my grades. In 7th grade I had 4.4, in 6th 4.8, and in 5th 4.7.
That's perfect.
So I did really well. Like I could have easily been like 5.0 every single time if I if I cared about it, but I didn't. So, and so like I started going to high school, new environment, whatever. Like that didn't really faze me at all. Like it's not that I wanted to drop out because I have no friends or whatever in the new school. Or I never really cared about any of that. But I just simply didn't like the idea of, in my head, like wasting another 4 years of my life. Because like I go to I guess like economics high school or whatever.
Me too.
Yeah. So like I like economy. I like the whole concept of it. I like learning about the
money circulation.
Structures behind the whole thing. But that's only like maybe 2 classes. I have like 13. Maybe like 2 classes are like that, where you learn about how the whole macroeconomics things work.
Wait, you have 13 classes a week?
No, 13 different classes. It's like I might have more.
Like fuck, what?
Yeah.
13 different classes?
Yeah, so okay, do you want me to count them? So we have maths. Obviously, we have Serbian as in our native language. We have English as our foreign language. History, geography, biology, and one more. And yeah, PE. Those would be like the 7 ones that have nothing to do with economics. It's just like the regular stuff. And then we have like one where you learn about the office and like how to behave in the office and what the everything about a fucking office, which is bullshit. Like I
Etiquette.
don't what.
Etiquette.
Maybe I don't know, but that one, for example, I don't give a single fuck about. Like I
Yeah.
don't care. But we have like the principles of economy, where that's like probably one of my two favorites. You learn about the economy in its entirety. You learn about how the market behaves. You learn about the market pretty much, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
And
see.
that's really fun. I mean, like I love it. I don't know how to call it, but basically you learn about for example, a business or a company, how it works,
Yeah, I
how
see. I
how
see.
how you can manage your business or whatever, how other people do it and shit
Yeah,
like that. That one's really good too. I like that one too. There's accounting, where you learn how to
I
be
know
an
it. I know it. Yeah.
accountant, but I don't like it's easy, but I don't care because I don't want to become an accountant. Okay, whatever. That last one is irrelevant. It's a shit.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain. So I know that's 12, by the way. I said 13 because like how we behave in school, like there's behavior pretty much, and you get grades. So like I mean that's like in the
That's etiquette, actually.
yeah, that's like unless you do something really retarded, that's like an easy A. No, basically,
All right.
like if you don't fucking chop off a kid's head, you're gonna get an A.
Chop off kid says, dude, my cousin told me like 3 weeks ago, that one of his classmates stabbed a teacher for getting on its nerves
Mm.
because that teacher who taught them and their his class was really retarded,
Yeah.
and one kid just straight up brought a knife to school, went up to
Jesus
the
Christ.
teacher, and he just stabbed her like 4 times in the neck.
Jesus
That
Christ.
that fucker lives
Is she alive?
still. Yes,
Oh,
and the
good.
kid is in jail, and
I
my
mean, he
grandma.
should be in jail, to be honest.
And my grandma was like infuriated because he told me how shit that teacher is and everything, and that the kid didn't deserve it. And after hearing his story, I would say the same. I'm not gonna say it because it's really long and I forgot it. But the main thing is that this teacher should not be a teacher because she mentally abuses the kids,
I mean, fair enough,
and the kid had
but
just an
like
accident.
fucking
He just-
stabbing her isn't the way to go.
Well, if she died, then it would have been better after, as I
What?
said, after hearing her
What?
story. Yeah, she was abusing the kids mentally, like telling the kids how stupid they are and how
Yeah,
they
but
were.
like she doesn't deserve to die over that. Like, come on.
I mean, I'm gonna ask her again. I'm gonna write it down and I'm gonna send it to you, and then you will decide for yourself, alright?
Okay, fair enough. But I
I had a really bad experience with. Sorry, I had a really bad experience with bad
Yeah.
teachers, so I kinda relate to him.
yeah, fair
I'm not
enough.
gonna stab anyone, but still,
I'm not gonna stab anyone. Fair.
it's not in plan.
Yeah. So like, by the way, so let me. I was like, yeah. So like, we have those, 13 or 12, whatever
Yeah.
classes. I'm only really interested in like 2. Um,
Lol.
so like, I failed 2 classes, by the way, in the first the second semester or whatever, like the first half of the year. My like average would be like 2.9 now, but I failed 2, so it doesn't matter. But
Okay.
it's fine, like, cause like no one gives a shit. Like, what matters is like your grade at the end of the year,
Yes.
and like when at the end of the second semester or at the end of the first half of the year,
Yes.
like it doesn't matter whatsoever. So like I failed, boohoo, big deal. But other than that, it's like I simply, for example, when I grow up. Well, when I grow up, I'm 15, but like, I wanna, I don't want to like, I never really wanted to do anything, when it comes to like economics. I never wanted a job, but I did, I went into this high school, I applied for it, I guess, because I wanted to know more. Because, when I, like, if I make more money, if I make a decent amount of money, like, I want to know how to use it well, I guess. And I'm simply, as I said, I'm very interested in the whole macroeconomics thing, irrelevant of my money. And so that's why I like applied or whatever. But I was pretty disappointed because like what they do is they in this school, you don't really like learn about any of that. It's like
Yeah.
they're pretty much preparing us for eventually working at a bank or whatever, and I just don't give a shit because like I honestly I'd rather like be homeless on the street or whatever than like do a job that I hate for like 10 hours a day, if
I
that
see.
makes sense. So like I was really like I was like nah, fuck it. Like at one point I was like I'm just not gonna go. Like I'll just drop out. Like if I'm gonna be learning about this type of shit, like I just don't care at all. Um, but so ended up like not going from the middle of September, right,
Okay.
to the end of November. So I didn't go to school like at all for 2.5 months. And I almost got expelled because
You didn't go.
yeah, simple. But at the end, like it's like, I talked to my parents. I talked to some of my friends, but mainly my therapist. I don't know, like he kind of convinced me to go eventually, and I was like, yeah, fine. Like we talked, and because it's like he told me, it's not just about what you learn. You can make friends. You can you get social skills, and
Oh,
you
fuck
know,
friends, dude.
yeah, exactly. And eventually, like, it's still like it's probably better for you to go. And we talked about it, and I was like, yeah. It also helps that I'm getting paid 150 euros per month to go. By my mom and my grandma. That's not bad.
Dude.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But I basically I should have been expelled to be because they told me they called my mom and they were like, basically when I like, when I was like still considering, so like that weekend before I started going to school, right? I'm pretty sure it was a Saturday or Sunday, doesn't matter. They called my mom and they were like, look, if he misses like another day of school, just because he doesn't want to go, we're going to expel him, right? And that kind of pissed me off. I was like, yeah, fuck you guys, like you're gonna fucking threaten me or whatever, right? And so I didn't go the next Monday, and I was like, fuck it, they can expel me. But then I started going after that, and then they ended up not. So that's I don't know, pretty
Dude
cool, I
almost
guess.
got
Yeah, no, as a, like, yeah. So pretty much,
Oh,
um, I considered it a waste of time because as I said, don't plan on doing anything related to it,
yeah.
and I got into the school because I kind of thought they were going to be learning. Well, they were going to be teaching us different things that I'd find
Yeah.
more interesting. But that didn't end up
That's not the
happening, sadly. Um, but yeah, I'm going for now. I like. I don't know. Will I go to the end of fourth grade? I have no clue. Will I go to the end of first grade? So I'm just taking it step
I
at a
see.
time, right? You know.
I mean, you're in first grade. You're 15. You're
Yes.
in ninth grade.
Yeah,
That's
ninth grade, whatever. First grade of high. Yeah.
yeah. If we count my position, I'm in third grade, and I don't know what's the difference between your school and my school because I'm also in economics, and we
Yeah.
also learned those stuff what you just told me.
Yeah.
I would say because we're not like 20 years apart, I would say school will not get better, in
No,
my opinion.
I know it won't. I don't
You
ex-
you know
I don't
you
expect it
also
to
know.
get better. No.
Yeah. And I think you are smart enough to know that you should start doing things you love as early as you can because you will not have time for it forever.
Agreed.
What?
Agreed. I said.
Um. So yeah, I would in your position. Yeah, like we have 2 or 3 years apart.
How old are you? You're 18, right? Or
I'm
17?
18, yeah.
18, yeah.
I would just say, because I cannot tell you much, maintain your hobbies. I think you know that to
Yeah, no,
maintain
like,
your hobbies.
so, like, my goal for like, school, I do, like, for now at least, I want to go. I don't want to drop out anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spend, like, more time than is necessary on school.
Of course.
Because honestly, right now in my life, school is not a priority. School is, like, my priority right now is to grind Counter-Strike as much, because for you, no, seriously, as stupid as it sounds, like, I do want to try to become, a professional in Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I see.
And, I think everyone, like, I think personally when it comes to people, especially myself, I consider myself, I don't want to sound like self-centric, I consider myself a very intelligent person, right? A very, maybe not smart, but intelligent. Those are two different things, right? If you look at some of the decisions I've made, especially about almost dropping out of school, you'd think I'm not the smartest, but I'm definitely very intelligent, right? And so I believe, for myself, I set very high standards for myself, because, and goals that are hard to reach, because I believe, if you're not, like, that's, like, the best way for me to do what I want to do, or to become a better person or whatever, because
What
I
if you
believe
fail?
in myself. And okay, I'll get to that. And I think that, for myself personally, I believe that I can do almost anything, for now at least, almost anything that I want to do when it comes to, like, making a livelihood, because I'm still young and I can still learn, different skills or whatever. But, like, I love Counter-Strike, right? Counter-Strike has, like, been my passion for years now. And, like, why not try, right? But anyway, what if you fail? So I've seen this, I don't remember who said it, but, I set, like, goal-wise, I set, goals that are hard to reach for myself. And personally, if I reach every single goal that I set for myself, I view that as a failure, because that means that I'm not setting them high enough.
What if you...
So let me just finish. So if you, like, in my opinion, no, I should fail in reaching a goal, like, every now, not often, not make a habit out of it, but if I don't fail every now and then, that means I'm not setting goals high enough for myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it. But in my opinion, I read an article about it, like 1 or 2 years ago, that you should always set yourselves small goals, even if it's just making you better or something, because that makes you thrive for a bigger goal. What do you think about that?
Yeah, fair. I mean, that sounds reasonable.
Would you be able to implement this in your life?
Probably. I haven't thought about it, but like, yeah, for sure.
Or I mean, do you have any procrastination problems with yourself, or you're not procrastinating at all?
Depends. If it's about something that I care about and that I love, then no. But if it's something that I just don't want to do, then I can. I wouldn't call it a problem, but it's like I can procrastinate if I, like, really don't want to do something, right? But I wouldn't call it a problem, because, like, that's, like, normal. If you don't want to do something, you just don't want to do it, right? But as I said, when it comes to things that I care about and that I, enjoy doing or whatever, then yeah, no, I don't, like, procrastinate.
Yeah, I see. So you don't have this problem?
Well, not really, no. I wouldn't say, at least. I don't know.
And no one even procrastinates in your family, so you don't even have an example of that.
I mean, I guess, yeah. Can't really think of anyone, to be honest.
That's nice. That's actually really nice.
Yeah.
Oh well. The school system is just fucked up, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
So useless.
I'm gonna tell you, so, like, what I thought about, because obviously, it takes talent and it takes, a lot of work to become a Counter-Strike professional, as with anything. And
Yes.
Like, I'm 15. I'm not sure will I. Like, I believe that I will, right? I believe in
myself.
myself. You have to.
So much time.
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself. But I'm also aware that, like, I'm not, like, it's not certain that I will, right? Obviously, it's not certain that for for any type of like sport or whatever. So like when it comes to uh, well, I guess backup plans, I love games in general. So maybe something. So like maybe something with like streaming or this podcast. I love love. I hate politics, but I believe that politics are necessary, right? Like I hate politics to its core because it makes people evil, if that makes sense.
Yes. Oh my god,
But
yes.
it's necessary in a sense that like without politics you'd have anarchy, and like what we have right now is still better than anarchy, right?
Yeah, the
Even
worst.
yeah, even though politics might be evil, it's still like there are good politicians, right? They're few and far between, but they do exist, right?
Yeah.
And also, as I said, like it's preferable to just everyone doing whatever the fuck they want to do with no like laws or like limits or whatever.
The most evil thing about politics and the worst thing, in my opinion, is that it compartmentalizes people. So
What does that
if
word mean?
compartmentalize, it
Yeah.
means that people are different, and when two people think differently, they will hate each other for their thinkings, and that's what I truly, truly, out of my
Yeah,
heart
honestly,
hate.
like I do that. Like I think in America especially, but around the whole world, like, and including myself, you view if you're into politics, you view the other side as evil, and I do. I think, uh, I do consider, for example, when looking at America, I do consider Democrats evil, but that's not a good thing, right? And I'm aware of that, but
Yeah.
I still do consider them evil.
I am trying to be centrist.
Yeah.
I'm trying to watch the two sides, and then I will have and then I will form my way of
Yeah.
thinking. So I will eventually, I think I will lean to one side. I cannot be fully centrist in my whole life for the rest of my life. So I think I will once lean to one and then lean back to the other. Who knows? It will always change, I think. But yeah, as I said, I really, really don't like to that politics just makes people hate each other, and maybe I do too to an extent. But as you said, also I want to change. We try to stay the objective side, but it's we're also human. We cannot really
I
suppress
guess.
that
I guess.
100%.
Yeah. Anyway, also it's subjective, not subjectical, or however the fuck you said it.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm just out of my mind right
Yeah.
now.
So that would be it.
That was it.
Subscribe, leave a like, do all that good shit that all
Come
the
on, dude,
famous YouTubers tell you to
don't
do.
be this cringe. Subscribe and
No. You gotta do like they have to do all the shit that the famous YouTubers tell them to do, cause like
yeah, right.
right.
For
Um.
me, comments are the best.
Yeah, I love comments. I love comments. That's why
I
I
love
love
comments.
streaming. But I don't do
Yeah,
it.
I would actually like take 2 hours to read 1,000 comments, and I would love it.
Yeah, same.
The more comments, the better.
Same.
So, guys, that's it for this video. I hope
Yeah.
you enjoyed it, and see
See you next time, whenever the fuck
you
the
next
next
time.
time is. I
Yeah,
don't know. See, it took us a while. Hopefully, it's not gonna
it,
take us as long this time
yeah,
because,
yeah.
well, that would be quite rough.
Maybe tomorrow, maybe in 10 years. Who
Yeah,
knows?
probably not tomorrow though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, thank you. See you
All
next
right.
time.
See you next.
Bye.
Bye. even if we're sometimes subjectical,